We're going to look at a few questions now with regards to buying, leasing, or leasing to own a vehicle. So the first question we're going to look at, which question would you not have to consider when leasing a car? So something that you wouldn't want to worry about, or you wouldn't need to worry about if you were leasing a car. First option is, will you buy new or used? Second option is, how much can you afford? Third option is, how do you plan on paying? And D is, how much will insurance be on the vehicle? When you're leasing a car, the reason you would probably consider a lease over, say, buying would probably be because you want something a little cheaper. You want to be something, want to have something for less money per month, so you're not wasting, well, not necessarily wasting, but you're not spending as much money every month. So definitely how much you can afford is something you would want to consider when you're leasing a car. You definitely want to know how you're going to pay. How do you plan on paying? Are you going to have a bank loan? Are you going to go financing through the car company or through some other means? Just something you'd want to consider for sure when you're leasing a car. How much insurance will be on the vehicle? Now, when you're leasing a car, these car companies want the car to come back in a resellable shape if you don't plan on purchasing it outright, at least to own option at the end of your lease. And it's a requirement for them to give you the keys to the car that you do have insurance on the vehicle. So that's an added expense on top of owning the car or leasing the car that you're definitely going to want. The only one here that you wouldn't have to worry about is, would you buy new or used? The reason being, if you're leasing a car, you're going to be getting something brand new. You won't necessarily be buying or leasing a used car. It just really doesn't make sense. If you're going to get something used because you want a cheaper price, you might as well just go out and buy it, because there are definitely advantages to owning a car over leasing. And if you're going to buy used, you're looking for a cheaper option, well, buying used is the way to go. In fact, I don't know if you can even get a leased car that's used. Okay, the next question, we want to describe a scenario in which a person should buy a used car, buy a new car, and a third scenario where a person would want to lease a car, and give reasons for each decision. So this is a very open-ended question. There are lots of answers that you could provide. Here are some of the things that I thought of. For A, buying a used car, you want something cheap, definitely. That would be a consideration here. You want something cheap. The reason for that, it seems self-evident to me. You don't want to pay a whole lot. And you also might be on the road a lot. And in a situation like that, you want something cheap, but you don't necessarily want to be watching your kilometers, which is what you'd be doing when you're leasing a car. So we could say you want something cheap and you're on the road a lot. So that means you're going to eat up a lot of kilometers. You don't want to worry about mileage. And this is by no means an exhaustive list of reasons why you'd want to buy used, but this is certainly an example of when you'd want to buy something used. Buying a new car, maybe you still don't want to worry about mileage. You don't want to worry about mileage. And you have enough money really to buy a new car. you want a car for 8 or 9 or 10 years, then buying brand new might be the best way to go. If you buy a used car, you might not necessarily be able to get as much time out of it. So we can also say, want something for a long time. Okay, so you want something for a long time, so buying new would probably be the best way to go. And also, you want the warranty. When you're leasing a car, you want something, a scenario where a person would want to lease a car, and maybe you want something new. You don't necessarily want to have something that's already been driven. You want the warranty. You might want to replace it for after a while. So you want a renewal, I suppose, a new car after a few years. And you want cheaper payments. Don't want to spend as much. Okay, so these are all the reasons why you'd maybe consider leasing a car over buying new or even buying used. So buying used and leasing, you get cheaper payments usually. Buying new or leasing, you also get your warranty, you get a new car. So there are lots of reasons why you might want to consider one reason over another. Certainly, if you're leasing, another thing you'd probably consider is if you're not worried about mileage. You don't drive it very much. So that might be another valid reason for leasing. So this might be like a car that gets you back and forth to work and maybe to the grocery store, but you're not planning to go on any major trips with it. You have a short commute. You're not worried about how far like how many kilometers you're going to use up on the car. There are all reasons. Again, this is very open-ended. There's lots more reasons you could choose. Maybe you've gotten many better answers than I do, even. And that's fantastic. But these are some of the things that I thought of when I looked at this question. So to summarize this section again, there are 3 options for obtaining a vehicle. You can buy outright. That would either be paying everything up front or through financing. You could finance. Leasing, where you would basically rent a car on a contract for 2 or 3 or 4 years usually, or some portion of those. You sign a contract, so you're beholden to that car for the length of the contract. And if you, for some reason, need to break that contract, it's your responsibility to pay any outstanding fees. But you return the car at the end of your lease. And maybe pick up something else or go somewhere else or don't get another car. Leasing to own is where you lease your car, but at the very end of your lease, there's a residual value on the car, and you make an agreement to pay off the residual value of the car, and then it's yours to own. So reasons for doing this would be you've just driven the car for 2 or 3 or 4 years. You're very comfortable with the car. You know how it runs. You enjoy the car, and you want to keep it. And you're going to be able to get it at a cheaper rate than if you bought a similar car in similar shape used off of a lot, because you'll usually have a bit of grace by having already been technically owning the car or using the car. So again, that's another option, leasing the car and then at the end of it deciding to buy out the remaining value of that car. And so when you buy, you must consider what is the best option for you. After weighing many factors including costs, insurance rates, the amount of usage, and any other things like air conditioning or heated seats, a sunroof, all those little extra features, These are all little add-ons that you can certainly consider when you're buying a car.